and I have another tag video, but this one I created. I spent so much time on this video, not on the video itself. I spent so much time on creating this tag and getting my answers, and I'm super excited about the tag. It is actually not Disney related, it is music related, which influences me so much on a day-to-day basis. So there is a Disney question in here, so I did put one Disney question, but this tag is completely music related, and I'm so excited to have created this tag, and I really hope I get some of you guys to do this. I will tag 6 people in it at the end of this video. I'll tag you and I'll let you know too. But let's go ahead and get started. So some of these tags will not apply to everyone. So if it does not apply to you, just list it in your description if you do the tag, but skip over the question, because I understand that some of them don't apply to you because they involve like your children or your parent. If you only had one, I listed both. However it works for you. Oh, and I listed one for college, so if you didn't go to college, then that one wouldn't apply. Just put it in your description for the listing of them, but skip over the question. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started on this tag. I'm so excited. It is favorite song tag, is what I've called it. So let's get started. Excuse me. So the first one is favorite song that takes you back to your childhood. Now this doesn't have to be a song that was around during your childhood, just a song that reminds you of your childhood. And childhood goes anywhere from the first you can remember to graduating high school. Not the high school graduation year though, because that question's later. So this one for me is called Raised on It by Sam Hunt. So in his song, he describes how he was raised basically and what he did. And to me, it just fits perfectly to growing up. And more high school years for this one, but it just fits perfectly for growing up. Oh, and by the way, if there's any song I mentioned that you've never heard of, and I really love all of these songs, so in my personal opinion, I would go and check them out on YouTube. I'm not going to put links in below for them, and I'm not going to play the songs in here because I don't want to have a copyright issue or anything like that. But I will tell you the song name and who it's by. Okay, second one. Favorite sad song. This one was actually really easy for me because when I was in college, I had a friend of mine create me a soundtrack of songs that are supposed to help you get over an ex. One of them on there was like a super sad song, didn't help me at all, but I really loved the song. And it is called Map World by Gary Jules. If you haven't heard it, check it out, and the video is pretty good too. Favorite love song. This one is a newer one for me. I just started listening to this singer probably a year ago, maybe a little bit more. So I picked this one because it was fresh in my memory. I'm sure there's other good ones, but this one was fresh in my memory. And it is called Die a Happy Man by Thomas Rhett. It's a country song. Favorite dance song. I did have a little bit of trouble with this one because I had so many songs that I liked, but then I remembered that I had listened to this song like 6 times in a row and was dancing around my house one day. So it is Can't Stop the Feeling by Justin Timberlake. It's also on the Trolls movies, if that rings a bell to you. Favorite song that takes you back to your 20s. Now this one won't apply to everyone because if you're in your 20s or you're younger, you're not gonna have one for this. But if you're in your 30s or older, you will. So for me, that takes you back to your 20s is Open Your Eyes by Snow Patrol. I saw this song, or heard this song in the background of a movie that I watched in college, living in my college dorm room. And I can't remember the name of the movie. I tried to, but couldn't. But after I heard that song, I had to find it. So I found it, downloaded it, and I listened to it so much during college, so much. And it's kind of a sad song. I think it's about suicide even, but I'm not positive. But I really do like this song quite a bit, and it reminds me of my 20s. Song that reminds you of that special someone. I have two, and I couldn't decide between them. So the first one is Summertime by Kenny Chesney. The reason for this one is when my husband and I first started dating, probably like a month into it, we took a trip together to Florida. We took my car, but he drove most of the way because I didn't know how to get to where we were going in Florida. And I had my bare feet up on the dashboard pretty much the whole time down. And this song says 2 bare feet on the dashboard in the song. And he played it like 4 times on the way down for a 9-hour drive, which is fine. I mean, 4 times in 9 hours is okay. But this song really just reminds me of him and our first trip together. And that's why it reminds me of a special someone. The second one is the song we danced to at our wedding, and it is My Kind of Crazy by Brantley Gilbert. By the way, Kenny Chesney's on here quite a bit because it's my husband's favorite singer. So I've heard a lot of Kenny Chesney since we got together, which was 10 years ago. So he's on here a lot. Song that reminds you of a good friend. Summer Girls by LFO. My friend Candace and I used to listen to this song all the time in the car when we were just driving around town in high school. So it reminds me of her. In fact, it came on the radio the other day. I took a picture of my radio on my car because it tells you what it is, and I sent it to her and was like, remember this? Okay, next one. Favorite song that reminds you of your mom. For me, this one is The Lion Sleeps Tonight by the Tokens. She listened to it a lot as I was growing up in the car, and I would request it. Like, I would hear it, and then after hearing it so much, I started asking her to request it on the radio to play, and she would, and then drop me off at my grandmother's house, and I'd be like, you have to turn on the radio so I can hear this song. So it reminds me of my mom very much. And what's funny is the song reminds her of me because that's her ringtone for me when I call her. The next one is Song That Reminds You of Your Dad. This one is Don't Stop Believing by Journey. Really, any song by Journey would remind me of my dad, but this one's probably the one I like the most. He loves Journey. And there's another band he likes really well, but I couldn't remember the name of the band, so it was really difficult to find those songs. But this one is one that every time I hear it, I think of my dad. Songs that remind you of your kids. Obviously, this one may not apply to you if you don't have kids, but I have 2, so I have 2 songs. The first one is X's and O's by Ellie King. It's a kind of a newer song. It reminds me of my daughter because every time we get in the car, she asks me to play it, and then she sings to it when I do, because I don't play it every time, but I do occasionally. And then for my son, Life is a Highway, the Rascal Flatts version. The reasoning for this one is when he was smaller, he loved Cars, the movie Cars, and the Rascal Flatts version is the one that they play in that movie, and he would always ask me to play the song. He doesn't anymore, but he did when he was little. Favorite boy band song. This one was really hard because I grew up listening to Backstreet Boys, 98 Degrees, NSYNC, all of them. And all of their songs are my favorite. But I had to narrow it down to one. So I narrowed it down to one that I would dance to all the time. And it is Bye 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 by NSYNC. Favorite country song. This one was also hard. I'm not a huge country fan, and in fact, I think I only listened to probably 4 different country artists, maybe 5. It's under 10, so it was really hard because I just didn't know which one to do. But I can relate to this song by the words in it because he mentions all the pretty girls looking in the mirror, hating their hair, hating their body, hating themselves and how they look, which is probably how most girls feel at a young age. And this one's called All the Pretty Girls, and it's by Kenny Chesney. Favorite pop song? This one was exceedingly hard for me because as I was growing up, I didn't really listen to pop music. I listened to more alternative music alternative music. And I found one song by an artist that I would put in the alternative category. But when I looked up to see what this song was labeled as, it was actually labeled as pop. So I went with this one. It probably took me like hours to figure this one out. That's ridiculous, right? Well, it's Don't Speak by No Doubt. I've got the pop music for like the boy bands, but that was a different category. Okay, so favorite Disney song. This one was also hard because I love The Lion King. I love The Little Mermaid. I love Pocahontas. I just love everything, but I felt like the one that I probably sang to most as a kid, other than the Lion King ones, is A Whole New World from Aladdin. So that's the song I chose. There's your Disney song. R&B song. This one could possibly be more put into pop, but I put it in R&B because it would be R&B too. Or maybe rap a little bit because of the artists that are with them. But I picked Yeah by Usher, Lil Jon, and Ludacris. It reminds me of my freshman and sophomore year in college, and I think it reminds me of college anyway. It reminds me of going to the local clubs and dancing. It also reminds me of someone I used to date, which probably isn't a good idea to have on my favorite list if it's that, but I like the song, so that it doesn't matter. There's a couple of pages here, I'm sorry. Favorite song in a movie not animated, because you've got bukus and bukus of animated ones that you can pick from under the Disney one. So this one's not animated. It was kind of hard for me to pick because I had so many, but I ended up going with Supermassive Black Hole by Muse, and it's from the Twilight Saga, the very first movie called Twilight. And my reasoning for picking this one is because the scene that they use it in, they use this song in, like, if you haven't seen the movie, it's a baseball scene. So they're vampires and they have all these abilities, of course, because they're vampires. Well, they're playing baseball in a field. And when they're playing baseball, this song comes on and it really fits. It just fits the scene really, really well. So that's why I picked this one. A favorite song to relax to. This one was also pretty difficult for me. But I picked I Will Be Found, Lost at Sea by John Mayer. It's a very relaxing song. I tend to start yawning when I'm listening to John Mayer. Not because I think he's boring, but because his music is mainly really relaxing. It makes me relax, makes me a little tired. Favorite song to sing to. This one was actually easy for me. Maybe picking the song wasn't, but picking the artist was. And the artist is Lady Antebellum. The reason Lady Antebellum is so easy for me is because you've got the woman with her high-pitched voices, but she also does some low voices. And then you've got the man that has his lower voice. There's 3 of them, and I don't remember what the 3rd one does. But it balances so well that if I sing to it, I feel like I don't sound horrible. I feel like I can kind of blend into their voices. And I feel like I can sing pretty much every octave that they hit, except for maybe really high ones that she hits. But the song I picked is Stars Tonight. The next one is favorite inspiring song. It was a really close toss up. If you know who Eminem is, he sings some really inspiring songs of the fact of where he started and where he ended, and how he came up. So it was kind of like building up to inspiring. So I almost went with an Eminem song, but I changed my mind at the last minute and went with Hall of Fame by The Script. Favorite party song. This one was simple. I didn't even have to look it up. House Party by Sam Hunt. Favorite Christmas song, also very simple for me. It is Michael Bublé's version of Christmas, Baby Please Come Home. I love Michael Bublé's Christmas music. It's my favorite, and this is one of my favorite songs, so it was really easy for me to pick this one. Favorite Halloween song? That most of you would think that I would pick something from The Night Before Christmas. I didn't. I picked Thriller by Michael Jackson because I grew up listening to that song and loved it. Favorite song that fits your personality. This one was easy for me. I've always said this song since I said that this song fit my personality since I heard it. It's called Wild Child, and it's by Kenny Chesney and Grace Potter. Grace Potter has such an amazing voice. But basically, they're just saying that this wild child, she's somewhat innocent, but has kind of like a hippie vibe to her. And even though I don't release hippie vibes, I felt like the words to this song really fit to my personality. If you have never heard it, go check it out. See what you think. Best favorite summer song, I picked Vacation by Thomas Rhett. It's really upbeat. It sounds very vacation-y, and that's what I picked. Favorite breakup song. I have two breakup songs here. Break Up in a Small Town by Sam Hunt, because it kind of fits how breakups happen where I'm from, because I am from a small town. And then Break Up with Him by Old Dominion, which is also like, it's a girl dating somebody else, and she doesn't want to hurt him, but she wants to break up with him to be with this other person, and he's like, just break up with him. So I picked those two. Songs that are from before you were born. A song that you like that was from before you were born. I picked You're So Vain by Carly Simon. The first time I heard this song was actually on How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. And Kate Hudson singing to it, and Matthew McConaughey, and I don't know, I just really love the song, and I've downloaded it and it's on my playlist now. Favorite sexy song. I had to put this one on the list. There is a song by Kenny Chesney called Come Over. And it's about two people that either used to be together, and or are kind of getting together, and they're bad for each other. They're like super bad for each other, but they can't resist each other. They just are so drawn to each other that they have to be together, and none of their friends want them together. But the song itself is just very, very sexy, and then the music video is too, so go check out the music video. A song from your high school graduation year. Mine is Hanging by a Moment by Lifehouse. I remember listening to the song, and it played at prom. I think they might have played it at graduation, but I don't remember. And my prom date loved Lifehouse. Two more. Song that reminds you of college. If you didn't go to college, this won't fit. And it could also be intertwined with your 20s one, because most people are in college in their 20s. But mine is A Praise Chorus by Jimmy Eat World. I was a resident advisor for the first 2 years in college, and one of the guys that was also a resident advisor really got me hooked on Jimmy Eat World and Our Lady Peace. And I could probably name a couple more bands, but we hung out a lot. Never dated, hung out a lot, and he loved Jimmy Eat World and listened to it. And I've actually been to 2 or 3 Jimmy Eat World concerts now since then. So he really got them to be one of my favorite bands. Favorite all-time song. This artist is the artist I've been to concerts the most. Well, aside from Kenny Chesney, because my husband goes to Kenny Chesney concerts, so I go with him. But for me, I actually went to other states to go to. I went out to California to go to a concert. I went to Maine to go to a concert. And the song is Drive by Incubus. It's my all-time favorite song. It's been my favorite song for a very long time. I skipped one of my lists. Yes. Notice I skipped it. Okay. So the all-time favorite song should have been last, but I accidentally skipped one because I mentioned my all-time favorite song. That reminded me that my favorite band right now is Imagine Dragons, not Incubus, even though Incubus was my favorite band as growing up. Favorite feel-good song that either reminds you of a vacation or just makes you feel good. Mine does both, and it's called On Top of the World by Imagine Dragons. That is my all-time favorite Imagine Dragons song. Not my all-time favorite song, but my all-time favorite Imagine Dragons song. This song actually reminds me of the first time we took Ephraim to a water park. I don't really know why, but it does. Okay, back to my all-time favorite song. My all-time favorite song, again, is Drive by Incubus. It's my favorite band of growing up, and it's still my favorite song. And that's it. That's all of it. I'm going to tag 6 people in this. Mainly because I'm not sure everyone will do it, but I really would like all of you to do it. And of course, the first person I'm going to tag is Christina from Playdates and Travels. I'm going to tag, in addition to Playdates and Travels, I'm going to tag Emma and John, you're welcome. Bob and Ashley, Thomas Ever After, Coral Joy Travel, and Laura 2.0. So all of these people are great, wonderful YouTubers. All of them do Disney YouTube videos, and most of them do a little extra other than just Disney. And that's why I picked them, because a lot of the YouTubers I'm friends with are strictly Disney, but I feel like these always have like a little bit of extra sometimes. They don't always do just Disney. And that's what was really important to me, is to tag somebody that would actually probably do these and enjoy doing them, and that their followers would actually like to see too. So I would suggest all of you to go check them out. I'll put each of their links down below in the description. And that's it. I hope you liked this tag video. I worked really hard on it. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great one. Bye.